Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Leno here. How you doing? So I just want to dive into things. As you can see by the title, I'll be addressing rather a sensitive issue that we as South Africans, we as women are dealing with currently. It has been happening and it still continues to happen, which is gender-based violence. By the words of our president Ramaphosa, he says that gender-based violence in South Africa should be considered a second pandemic in the country. It's as serious as coronavirus. If the president says that the gender-based violence is as serious as coronavirus, you know that it's serious, because we are losing our sisters every day. We're losing our sisters every day, and most of the time is from the people that they trust, our fellow brothers, fathers, uncles, and friends. And now it's time that we take a stand to say no to gender-based violence. But I won't be dwelling too much on gender-based violence. With everything that has been going on, one thing that has been constant in my mind is forgiveness. I know y'all will be like, how can we be thinking about forgiveness when most of them are not remorseful, when they are not even asking for forgiveness? Well, the whole purpose of this video today is talking about how to forgive the unforgivable. What those men have been doing to us, I'm saying us because we are sisters, we are together. What they have been doing is definitely unforgivable, and at this time we are not really in that mindset of forgiveness. But I want to challenge you guys. I think I look a bit weird. Yeah, I want to challenge you guys that let's start thinking about forgiveness. So before I dive into it, I just want to give you a background story so that we can really understand why forgiveness is so important. Growing up, I was a very unforgiving person. You do something bad to me, I would hold a grudge. I would remember what you did, the day that you did it, and the date I was that bad. It didn't matter how big or how small the offense was, but I remember it, and I would not forgive. So one particular morning, 2003, I was going to school with my younger sister. I don't think there was a friend, but I remember my younger sister was there. So we were going to school, and I remember very well that my school uniform, the tunic, it was small. So my mother was like, she's gonna get me a new one because it was getting short. So it was very short, so I had to deal with it because until I get a new tunic. So I'm heading to school with my younger sister. We are not even 5 minutes away from my home, and as we are working, there's a group of guys. I was 9 at that time. My younger sister was like 7. I was 9, and those guys were probably in their late 20s, maybe 30s. They were coming behind us. So me and my sister were just minding our own business, going to school. And then one guy decides that it's a smart thing for him to take his dirty hand and slip it under my skirt to touch my thighs. You imagine how I was feeling at that particular moment. I definitely did not feel safe. I felt like I needed to rush home, and I felt like I was not safe at all in the streets. I need to get somewhere safe, but I couldn't go back home. I had to go to school. The worst part of it is, Bomo guy that were working with the guy, instead of rebuking him, they left as if he did something cool, and it was not cool. Okay, so a few days passed. No, I remember the same day I told my family about what happened, and then they told me that if I ever see him, because our home, like the living room, we can see everything that is happening in the street because we live by the main street, so everybody has to pass our house to get to where they want to go. So one particular morning, I'm sitting down and I'm watching TV, and I see the bastard passing my home. So I tell my family, there he is. So they go out to confront him, and then what does he say? He denies each and everything, making me look like a crazy person, and my family lets it go. This was the start of the unforgiveness, or I could say the thing that I remember the most about unforgiveness. At that time, I vowed not to forgive this guy ever again. I prayed that he dies and burns in hell. Each and everything that any person could think of, I wished upon that guy. I remember I would see him a week would not pass. I would see him. He would be living his life, laughing like everything is okay. And every time I saw him, I would just burn up inside. I would just boil up because I felt like what he did was wrong, and he did not get the punishment that he deserved. This went on from when I was 9 until maybe in my early teens, when I really understood forgiveness. So with that, I wanted us to really think about the victims who survived, the survivors. I want us to think about the survivors. I know that this is a very sensitive topic. It is very difficult to even comprehend how you will start forgiving someone who did what is unforgivable in your eyes. So what I want us to start with when we come to forgiveness is that once you realize how much God has forgiven you, it will be easy for you to freely and fully forgive others. Let that sink in. Once you realize how much God has forgiven us, we can fully and freely forgive others. I know forgiveness is not an easy task. Even for me, it did not happen overnight. It required a lot of God work. The reason I'm not saying hard work and saying God work is because even my hard work didn't help the situation, but it took God working within me to really be able to forgive the person, despite the fact that he was not remorseful, despite the fact that he didn't come and apologize, and despite the fact that he didn't even acknowledge the act that he did, or be accountable for his actions. So it really took a lot, and I mean a lot, of God work. So a lot of you will be like, it's easy for you to say, but we all know that forgiveness is never easy. What I noticed with me not forgiving that guy is that not forgiving the person is like holding a burning coal in your hand. Imagine holding a burning coal in your hand. Not forgiving someone is like holding a burning coal in your hand, expecting that it does harm to that person, but what it's actually doing, it's doing more harm to you than that person. You get it? So forgiveness is not justification for what that person did. Forgiveness does not mean that the sin is excusable. Forgiveness does not mean that we deny or forget what was done to us. Instead, forgiveness is remembering what Christ did on the cross. Is remembering that he died for you and that person who sinned against you. Forgiveness is simply accepting the sacrifice that Jesus did on the cross as sufficient. Forgiveness is simply saying that what God did on the cross is sufficient. It is sufficient, and if it is sufficient, if he died for my sins, if he is able to forget everything that I have done, then why can't we not start forgiving those who sinned against us? We remember that in Matthew 6 verse 12 it says that forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. I am pretty sure that we have been reciting this Lord's Prayer from the beginning, from when we were young. Sometimes we say things and we don't really understand the meaning behind it. You understand? Because we can say it, but actually doing it is another story. Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. That didn't sound right. English. It's fine. So the other thing to remember is that for God to forgive you, you have to forgive, because there is no perfect person. Remember that Romans 5 verse 8 says that, but God demonstrates his own love for us in this: while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. Christ didn't wait for us to be perfect. Christ didn't wait for us to be blameless and sinless. He died. He sacrificed his own life so that we can be reconciled with our Father in heaven, so that we can have peace, so that we'll be able to forgive those who sin against us. I know that with everything that is going on around the world, especially here in South Africa with the gender-based violence, it's not easy for us to be talking about forgiveness. But I want you at this particular moment to really be intentional about forgiving somebody who did a bad thing to you. Whether that person raped you, whether that person stole something from you, or whether you lost someone in a horrific manner, in a way that is unimaginable, that is unexplainable, that just left you, speechless. I know that we are bearing unforgiveness for everything that has been done to us from those people. So it's my challenge, it's my plea, it's my request today that we try to forgive, because I know that it is very difficult to move on from the hurt. The first step would really be accepting what has been done to you, realizing, accepting the hurt. Accepting that hurt, not bearing it, letting go of every emotion, crying if you need to cry. I won't say curse out because we don't do that, but cry, just do anything that you feel that you have to do for you to feel better. And then the next step is talking to God about your emotion, how you are feeling, how the situation has left you. And thirdly, allowing God to really take hold of your situation and let Him do His work inside of you. And in that way, He will be able to give you a forgiving heart. He will be able to change you from the inside and out, and that His goodness and His love and His mercy and grace will flow through you to others, so that you can extend the same grace that God has given you. So with that, it brings us to the end of our video. I hope that we will really take it to heart, that we really pray and think about it. I hope that we are able to be a generation that forgives, that strives to be more like Jesus, because Jesus is very forgiving. He's very gracious and merciful. He delights in showing mercy, and mercy triumphs over judgment. I've said that before and I'll say it again. So that is my plea to you guys, that let's start forgiving in spite of what is happening to us, in spite of what is being done to our fellow sisters, our mothers, and our younger ones. Let's start viewing it in a way of releasing those negative emotions, and most importantly, let's pray for our brothers. Let's pray for our brothers. Let's pray for our fathers, our uncles, and our male friends. I feel like prayer will change everything. Prayer does change everything. James 5 verse 16 says that the prayer of the righteous is powerful and effective. And I believe that, my sisters, if we take a stand and really pray for our brothers, it will make a difference. Okay, I think I said enough on this topic. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next week, Wednesday, 10 o'clock. Don't forget, 10 o'clock. And I hope that you are loving the content that I'm bringing out. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. So I love you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. God bless you. Bye.